When playing Overwatch, there is only one thing separating you and your team from life and death, and that is your health, also known as hit points. When there is too much of it, the game can drag on and nothing seems to die. On the flip side, when there is too little HP, it can feel unfair and seem like you're getting deleted too easily. Today we're going to look at effective HP and area of effect healing, and how it impacts your Overwatch games. Hit points, HP or health, is a universal concept that represents how much damage a character or object can take. A DPS hero like Genji, who has one of the lower health pools in the game at 200 health, would be vulnerable to taking fatal damage after only a few hits if the enemy fire were to ever connect. This is intentional by design, as it is offset by the mobility and survivability built into his kit, creating a satisfying high-risk, high-reward type of playstyle that rewards playing well, especially when it comes to timing Dragon Blades or trying to go for dash resets. In the midst of a team fight, any damage he takes could be considered permanent, as he lacks any inherent healing or shields in his kit. However, over the years following several hero releases and balance patches, an issue which many have dubbed effective HP has become apparent, and a bit problematic. You can think of effective HP as how many theoretical points of damage a hero can take at any given time before hitting 0, after taking into account armor, shields, and external healing effects. These include abilities such as Brigitte's Rally, Lucio's Sound Barrier, and Batiste's Regenerative Burst. So with support effects like these in play, a hero that is being pocketed by their team would be able to get away with a lot more shenanigans than if trying to engage alone. The effective health provided by allies makes it difficult for enemy damage to stick and have as much of an effect as it would have otherwise. In the early days of Overwatch, there were only a handful of support heroes that could pocket and protect an ally. These included the likes of Ana, Lucio, Mercy, Zenyatta, and to a lesser extent Symmetra, when her E still applied a tiny shield. Overall, damage would be more impactful over the course of a match, as the amount of abilities that a team could provide an ally with effective HP were limited in number. As a result, supports have to carefully manage who they would heal or pocket at any given time, as that act of doing so would come at the cost of leaving others more vulnerable without their aid. Ana is perhaps one of the best support heroes ever released, with a kit that both embodies the core principles of playing as a support and is rewarding to master. While these fundamentals of playing support heroes still hold true today, what has become apparent over the course of many patches with the implementation of Mercy's ult rework and the additions of Brigitte, Moira, and Batiste is a steady influx of AoE healing, and, in turn, an increased presence in the amount of what is effective HP given to several teammates at a time, even at great distances. What we began to see was the overall time to kill in the game started to increase, as it became harder and harder to inflict meaningful damage. This ultimately was one of the major factors that helped to give rise to the infamous GOATS era, which reigned as the dominant meta for several months and for most of the 2018 Overwatch League season. This has had lasting effects to this day, even after the implementation of 222 and further nerfs to help rectify the problem. Speaking in broad strokes, the increased amount of AoE sustain and even temporary invincibility in the form of Batiste's Lamp promoted a popular type of playstyle where, as long as a team is grouped up, the effective HP along with the defensive capabilities of tanks would enable one to brute force objectives or straight up outsustain the enemy, in what can be described as a battle of attrition or a straight up clash, especially if they didn't bring the same to a fight. These death balls typically have to be met in opposition with a similar type of sustain-oriented composition, or be countered by high damage burst or strategic picks with hitscan heroes. We understand that without a doubt it takes skill and mastery to get the most out of AoE sustain effects when playing as support, but a case can be made that playing the role today is less rewarding than before. Healers in the past would need to take care in choosing their target priorities and who to pocket, but with the ability to provide effective HP to several targets at once with certain heroes, the rewarding feelings that come with this type of skill expression is arguably dulled in comparison. The issue of an abundance and effective HP isn't lost to the Overwatch balance team. We have definitely seen them tone down this phenomenon, with nerfs over time to things like Batiste's Regenerative Burst, Moira's Biotic Grasp, and various areas of Brigitte's kit, with one of the most noticeable being the removal of the armor-granting effect from her repair pack, which was noted by Blizzard as being deemed, quote, too effective when combined with the additional healing of repair pack. One thing Overwatch has an edge with compared to other FPSs is how non-fatal damage could always be healed up. But what we've seen over the years is an increase in the abundance of AoE sustain that changes fundamentally how we play the game, creating a sort of power creep in the form of effective HP. In order to retain what makes Overwatch rewarding to play, we have already seen how the dev team has been taking steps to tone down this issue, while not going as far as to strip away what makes a particular support hero fun to play, or make healing nerf to a degree that DPS heroes with a burst run rampant. It is a careful balancing act that isn't easy to tackle, but with the experimental card allowing the devs to try out fundamental changes to a hero's kit, like Moira's unique fade change which was tested, which empowered players with more playmaking potential, as opposed to giving her just another way to heal allies. All in all, it's a slippery slope when it comes to balancing the idea of effective HP and finding a comfortable spot between too much and too little. It's crucial that the developers avoid power creep, but pay close attention to not leave any character in the dust. When it comes to feel, it's subjective whether time to kill is lengthier than it should be or if it's sitting in a good spot, especially with moves like Immortality Field in the game. With characters slowly becoming harder to kill, we must police ourselves properly so as to not repeat history, creating compositions and playstyles that are meta, but unfun to play. This video was made possible thanks to our wonderful patrons. A huge thank you to everybody on this list, and shout out to Jason, Foxy, Lyra, Mauve, Nate, Nathan, Sierra, Shampoo, Weeaboo, and Spartacus for being platinum supporters. And an extra special shout out to Mookie, Noodles, Marco, and Steven for being diamond supporters. Thanks a ton, everybody. If you also want to support our channel and unlock perks, check out the Patreon link in the description below, or join our Discord server. If you want to help us out in a different way, leaving a like, subscribing, and hitting the bell to stay up to date is also appreciated. My name is Nikita, and thank you for watching.